Well, it's been raining outside, so we're in the kitchen, and I'm going to make a savoury semolina cake. It's a cake made many times before, and it's one which is a little bit of a surprise because it's not a dessert. We've actually served it as starters. It can be a little bit spicy. So first of all, just let me run you through all the ingredients, and there's actually quite a lot of them. The basic ingredient is semolina, which you may remember from your school days when you had school dinners. School dinners, they used to give you semolina with a blob of raspberry jam.
Strawberry jam.
Was yours strawberry? I can't remember, but anyway, it was red. And I know some people actually detest semolina because of that. Well, this is quite different, and it doesn't taste like anything like that, hasn't got anything like that texture.
Remember when we made it for Stan and he thought it was horrible because it got semolina in?
Only because he'd heard that. When he tasted it, he loved it. So besides the semolina, there's going to be some onions, some vegetables. I've got some carrots, some frozen peas which have been defrosted. I've got some fresh beans here that are going in there. There's going to be an onion. I've got some chilies to spice it all up. I've got some chili flakes just in case I want to spice it even more. These are red hot chili cakes. Some natural yoghurt, and that's going to be to bind it together. Maybe a little bit of water if it needs it. This is fresh ginger. I'll be grating that into it as well. Some bicarbonate of soda. And then we've got some more spices here. This is the cumin seeds. This is ground turmeric. And this is the mustard seeds. That part I really quite like. It sort of makes it all come together. So let's get cracking. Okay, so let's get started, and I'll be starting just by chopping up the vegetables. These are the green beans, and basically it's top and tail them, and then just cut them into little bits. So just take the ends off like that, and then just chop them into like 1-inch pieces. And they're all going to go into a large bowl, which is where we're going to do all of the mixing. So I'll catch you up in a minute when I've chopped all of those up. That's the beans in, they're just roughly chopped. The peas are a lot easier because they were frozen, so just put those in. It says a couple of handfuls, 2 or 3 handfuls. I'm actually doing twice the size because we've got a big tin and we've got a lot of mouths to feed. Right, next is carrots. It said small carrots, so I've got, well, 3 bits of carrots here, and I'm just going to grate those. You see Jamie Oliver doesn't do this, or James Martin, they do it all in seconds. I'm sure they've got some faster way of doing this, but I don't. It's just a slow process. And try not to grate my fingers in the way. Don't want any red bits in there.
The red bits of the chilies.
Just the last little bit. I don't think I'm going to get much more out of that, but there's quite a lot of grated carrot there. That's all going in.
Looks great.
The grated carrot does look great.
And it really is a delicious cake, this is.
Right, what next? Well, I've got an onion to chop, so it says it's a couple of spoonfuls. I'm going to do all of this onion. I'm not very accurate on the amounts. I suppose I should be, but I'm not. So all I'm going to do is chop this up quite finely into small little chunks. That's half an onion. Lots of onion in there. Probably rather more onion than the recipe asks for, but Anita says it's all right.
Don't blame me.
Okay, so what next? Oh, I've got the chilies. Got to have the chilies in there. So the recipe does say dried chilies, but we've got some fresh ones in there that we freeze, and then usually I just cut them up frozen. These are now defrosted, they've been standing around. You can de-seed them if you want to take a little bit of the heat away, but
Grown in the garden.
These are, yes, homegrown, and we want our hot cake to be sizzling.
Just like the weather.
The weather, it's done nothing but rain this afternoon, so we're hoping to nip out later on and see how the weather goes. It seems to have gone off a little bit at the moment. Okay, so there's the chilies. Don't lick your fingers. Okay, next up, it's ginger.
Looking nice and colourful in there.
It says about 1 inch of ginger, so we've got about 2 inches, I suppose. And I'm just trimming it really to get the skin off it. Like those bits. Trim the end off there, and then it's another grating job. That's it. Looks pretty good. So now we get the grater, and we're going to grate the ginger. Always smells good, ginger, when you're looking at it. Anita starts the day with a ginger and mint tea.
Ginger and lemon, I think.
Oh, yours not ginger? No, it's mint, yeah, sometimes lemon. Yeah.
It smells lovely.
I'm going to have a few straggly bits here, so just pushed all that through. And I'm just going to go over it with a knife. Try and get as much of that lovely ginger out as I can. Messy fingers now. I'm just going to go over this just to chop them up. I think that's all going to be nice and fine. That'll have a delicious flavour. Some carrots all grated together. Right, this is the turmeric, and it says half a teaspoon, but I'm going to be doing double the amount, so I'm going to do, well, that's just over half. There isn't much left in here.
To fill it up.
There we go, it can all go in. Need some more turmeric, darling. Okay, so there's one ingredient I've not put in yet, that's the semolina. Semolina has to be, well, I don't know how much it is, so I'm going to have to weigh this because I don't really know what to do. So I've got the scales out, and I'll just put some new batteries in, so hopefully it's telling me the truth. And this set of scales has a tare button, and you press that and it goes back to 0, and I'm going to put in, for the amount I'm making, about 300 grams, which is going to be quite a lot, I think. That's just over 300 grams. Okay. I'll pop that in there. That's it. Now, I don't need the scales anymore. I don't know how to turn these scales off. I think they just go off. Right, that's most of the solid ingredients in there. So now I'm going to put the yoghurt in. Use the yoghurt to bind it. So it said 1 for the amount in the recipe, but I'm going to put 2 in. And just using cold water from the tap, just going to fill that up twice. And hopefully that will be alright for mixing together. definitely a cake with a difference, isn't it?
It's supposed to be like a batter, so you might need some.
Yes, I might need a little bit more water.
You haven't put everything in yet, you know.
No, not quite everything yet. I've still got to put the cumin seeds, which I've got to split with the oil. I'm going to put some oil in here, and just before putting it on, I'm going to put some bicarbonate of soda in as well. So I think that needs a little bit more water to it. I'll just put another yoghurt pot full of water in, and Anita seems to think that might be enough. I think still a little bit more personally.
Go on then. It's your cake.
I think of batters as fairly runny things. So I want thick but runny. When I make the oat cakes, that's quite a runny batter. So I think this is now what I would refer to as a thick batter. That's not it. Still got a little bit more to do with the spices. One important thing to do is to season this, and it says to season it with quite a lot of salt, so a couple of really good pinchfuls of salt. There's 3. So unfortunately that's one of my problems. I do like things to be salty, so just mix that in. That's already looking good, but it's still not quite there. Okay, so now I've got some mustard seeds here. I'm going to put, 1 is in the recipe, but I'm going to double that up and put 2 in. That's 2 teaspoonfuls. Cumin, it says half, so I'm going to put 1. Good 1 in there, give it lots of flavour. And something I forgot about was the sesame seeds. I do like sesame seeds, so 1, 2, a little bit, because I do like them. I think they're really nice. What we're going to do now is we're going to actually cook them in some oil. So the way to do that is to get some oil in a little pan. It does tell you exactly how much oil to use. This is sunflower oil. Don't need a tremendous amount. We're going to get that hot, and then we're just going to pour these in. The mustard seeds in particular will start to pop. That's why you need the lid, otherwise they'll pop out. So I'm going to put them in yet. I'm going to get the oil nice and hot. I'm going to put a little bit more oil in that, because we've got quite a lot of batter to go in there. Okay, so over to the cooker, and I've just got a small gas there just to get it hot. The oil's really quite hot now, so I'm just going to quickly put that in. And put the lid on, and we should start to hear it popping in a minute. And then once it's all of it's popped, it's ready to go into the batter. Popping away in there.
Popcorn.
Okay, so I've now removed it from the heat, and it's pretty much stopped all of that popping, and I'm now going to pour it in here. There'll be a few sizzles as it goes in. Get that all nicely mixed in. In the meantime, I've already greased the pan. I've just put some oil in there and just
Bicarbonate of soda.
I've got just before I put it in, I put the bicarbonate of soda in. So, magic ingredient. That's the thing that fluffs up the cakes. Is the bicarbonate of soda. Good for lots of things. It says half a spoonful, so I'm going to put a full spoonful in. There's the full spoonful. And as soon as you've mixed it, it says, just get it all mixed in. You want it fairly even all the way through the dough, the batter. Now it can go straight into my greased pan.
Oiled.
Oiled. Get the terminology right. Oh, we've done plenty there. It just smells great. It's got all of those lovely herbs and spices in. And that's ready to go in the oven. About half an hour, just over half an hour, 40 minutes. We'll come back to it with a skewer and have a look. At the moment, it's not hot at the moment, so no problem putting it in. Whoa, it's hot in the oven though. Well, time has just gone for 30 minutes, so take it out.
I'm not sure it's done yet.
We have to put a skewer in. Is that a bit wet, is it?
Yeah.
So it's going to go in for another 15 minutes and we'll see what happens then. Well, starting to look a little bit better. How is the spear test? Anita's an expert at this.
Yeah. Really nice.
Now it says to leave it in the tin to cool, so we're not going to tip it out, we're just going to leave it in there and tip it out later. Well, there's the finished cake. I've had a little taste and it's delicious. Needed a little bit more cooking, I think, or a little less water, but it's going to be delicious anyway. It's a bit more like a pudding than a cake.